What's up, beloved sisters and brothers? Again, this is Chief Elder Osiris Speaks of the Pan-African International Movement and the Sankofa Reparation, Repatriation Movement, bringing to you another rendition of the divine truth centered around that most sacred and divine issue, reparation, repatriation. Yes, that is the issue that I am interested in, that I focus in on, because I know the power of the issue of reparation, repatriation. So I am not swayed, nor am I persuaded by anybody who comes to me attempting to explain to me why reparation is not the issue Black African people in America, not by choice, should be rallying around. When you do that, you only reveal yourself to me for me to know that you are not ready for the fight for freedom, justice, and independence. So don't come to me if you're coming negatively about that most sacred and divine issue, reparation, repatriation. Because that is the avenue we must travel, Black African people, if your desire is to be free, to be independent, to be with the right to justice on this earth. Not in America, that's not going to be. But our focus should and must always be on Mother Africa, our mother and fatherland, the land upon which the feet of our ancient cosmic divine universal ancestors first made print upon. And now it is so sanctified to be the place for Black Africans with a divine mind to settle upon and become one unified Black African nation again. So let me get to the point. There's so much going on, again I say, in America today that is full of you know what. I am here to keep you focused and to try and motivate you to come to an understanding that we must get up off our ass and begin focusing in on the very issue our enslaved African ancestor has made it possible for us to get in order for us to be free. That issue again is reparation, repatriation. So anybody making claim out there to be about and for reparation, again I said, and do not come to you with the full dress wear of reparation, which is reparation, repatriation, then tell them to get the hell away from you, because you know that's your enemy. You know they have no respect for freedom, justice, and independence to ever be on the motherland Africa, and to be among you as an environment where your children and elders and all that we love can reside in peace and harmony with balance with each other. So I'm hearing a lot about Marianne Williamson. As you know, in my last video, I made mention of her. Since then, I have sent her a message indicating that she should make an effort to sit down with me to let us discuss in depth the true meaning, sacredness, divineness of that most powerful issue, reparation, repatriation. Yes, you do not expect America, the criminal who implemented the institution of child slavery, to come out talking about their for reparation. Those devils have yet to admit all that they have done to our enslaved African ancestors in the institution of child slavery was wrong. They still think that God rises and sets on their white racist, Luciferian human being lying, deceiving behind. Not so. And as long as we, the black Africans in America, not by choice, and Africans everywhere, who seem to be ignoring the very issue capable of freeing Africa and freeing your black ass, then hell, no wonder America is as arrogant as she is toward that most sacred issue that has a specific interest to black African people, which is reparation, repatriation. So my message to Mary Ann Williamson, and I ask each and every one of you who are listening to this video to spread it long, wide, and everywhere in every corner you can put it, so that it can be listened to, looked at, seen, and heard, for the mere purpose to bring about a clear and understanding about what reparation, repatriation really mean to Africa, to black African people, not to anybody else. You see, America is a liar and a deceiver from the very inset and onset, especially when it comes to reparation. America knows that is a specific issue that is of grave interest to black African people. It carries the power of freedom and justice and independence for black African people in America, not by choice, and for Africa. And African people everywhere out of America, out of Africa, who need to get their behind back to Africa. Why? There in Africa is our power base, beloved sisters and brothers, whether you know it or not. You used to, so you need to get to know it again. So, no, it is not time to come out for an endorsement of Mary Ann Williamson. She must indicate to us a willingness to sit down with those of us who are very cognizant of the fact of what reparation really means to black African people and to Africa. And most of all, when you are really experienced politically, mentally, about an issue that you're really serious about, that entails a certain monetary value to it, you don't ever come out with a price tag on something that has not yet taken root in the minds of those who must rise and become in battle to demand reparation, repatriation, which is our main focus and interest today. Should be anyhow. If not, then something is wrong with us, black African people. So my invitation stands strong and firm to Miss Williamson. And I give her more interest than I have given to Kamala Harris and Miss Warren, because I knew right from the outset that was full of bullshit. But Miss Williamson seems in some kind of way to be of interest in trying to find justice out of injustice. So I'm here to let her know that if she so desired to have black people to look upon her in favor during her stint and run for political office, then she need to become serious about needing to become more in depth about what reparation really mean to black African people. And I am the one capable of laying out the blueprint of reparation to her. So, black African people, do not, and I cannot say it slow enough, allow those phony-ass black so-called leaders who sits on the ass and is afraid to take on the issue of reparation be your spokesperson, be your representative. you only cement your behind in the place of your oppressor and will not ever rise to the glory of your freedom and justice and independence. I therefore share with you that I am always available should you decide and desire to sit with me to find out in depth what my plan is as to how we are to get America to send a positive sign and message to our enslaved African ancestors, which is a willingness to pay the price for the crimes America has committed against our enslaved African ancestors, thus against Africa, against black African peoples everywhere. So, no, there is no compromise when it comes to the issue of reparation, repatriation, not in my divine mind, in a profane mind who seeks personal gain from the agony and the suffering of our enslaved African ancestors. Yes, they mean you no good. In other words, they are also, on top of that racist, lying, Luciferian human being, your enemy as well. Why aren't those so-called black leaders you always elevating out there beating the drum, letting you know that the way to salvation, the way to freedom is through and by America paying to our enslaved African ancestors their reparation, repatriation? You hear nothing from them. That is because they are not their own person. They operate not with the divine mind that nature has designed us with. So I will close in letting you know that time is now for the black Africans to rise together, organize. By doing so, and obtaining our divine mind, automatically the issue of reparation will become clear to you. You will know that is the very issue we all black Africans must rally around, because it carries the power of freedom, justice, and independence for black African people, for the unification of the black African nation, for a United States of Africa government to be governed by black African people, and for the freedom of Mother Africa. Hotep.